Welcome back to If I Ever Live to Be. Today I am joined by Viola Madej, and she is owner of V Consulting Services. And we're going to talk all things business. We're going to get into a little bit of the security space, but this is going to be a great episode. We were talking a little bit before we got started, and I'm really excited. So welcome, Viola.
Thank you so much for having me, Whitney. Really appreciate it.
Absolutely. And you and I have known each other for a good year now. I feel like we're
Yes.
coming up on.
Yes.
Um, and I am just and every guest that I have on the podcast is someone that I'm connected with or I've heard their story. And there's just this I'm thinking of like magnets, like this magnetic energy that it's about them, and I just love getting to talk with them and learning their story. And so first, I think the perfect place to start is you are a woman in business. So when did Viola decide like, yo, I can do all this myself and make more money and be in control and do all these things? What made you decide to go out and start your own business?
So honestly, my friends, the little backstory. I was born and raised in Poland. I moved to the United States when I was, just turned 21.
Wow.
And worked in the different corporations for a minute. Then was a part of the small business in Alpharetta, Georgia. And after 7 years, I made a leap into the corporate. I worked in the cybersecurity division for Dell, and it was fantastic. It was great because it helped me learn the small business aspects of wearing million hats at the time and going million miles an hour to sitting in the boardrooms with CEOs and directors and senior directors and talk about large enterprise. So that was really great. And then after a couple of years in being in the corporate, I noticed that I had a lot of friends who came to me and say, "Hey, Viola, how do I do this? And how do I do that?" And they had so many ideas and great business ideas, but they just didn't know everything, right? Which no
Yeah.
one does. But from a tech space, from running the own business, to cybersecurity, to the best practices. And then one night I realized, maybe this is something that I could do as a consultant, right? Because apparently there's a need for that. So I started V Consulting Services, where I focus on helping small businesses, small to medium businesses with, digital transformation. And what that means, it's not, cookie cutter way of getting the website, here's the five templates, pick one, this is,
Yeah.
what we do. This this is more of the partnership with business owners, learning what they do, hearing their pain points, and then rolling out the plan that matches what they are trying to accomplish. So it's not so much like a consultant, it's more of the partnership.
Yeah. Well, I love that. And even though it is seemingly a small detail that your friends really encourage you to go into business, I think that's so important, right? Like if we're hanging around the wrong people, and you give them enough power, meaning like that gets in your head one way or the other, they can literally make or break you and what you go after in your future.
100%, 100%. One of the things, the older I get, the more I realize that I want to be the dumbest person in the room because then I can always learn something. And no matter what you do, no matter how long here you've been doing this in life, there's always somebody who knows more. So it's always amazing to meet and connect with different people because then you can learn. Yeah.
I love that. Yeah, I remember when everyone, you turned 30, such a big year. And everyone asks you, how does it feel and all this kind of stuff, and you're in your 30s and you're moving out of your 20s and the fun 21, and I'm like, I like 30 and 35 way better than I liked 20, 21, and 25. I feel like I know so much more, and I'm more me, if
Mm.
that makes sense. And exactly what you said, I've quoted that a lot over recent years, is that if I'm the dumbest person in the room, then I'm in the right spot, because I still got learning to do.
I agree 100%. I think in our 20s, we're trying to impress people with so many things.
Yeah.
And then the older you get, you realize that, people come and go. It's just the nature of life. And the most important person to you is you. So investing in your own growth, investing in your own learning, this is the most important or the best gift you can give yourself, right? Because life is short, and we just need to focus on things that are important to us, not everybody else around, because the surroundings do change. You move from country to country or city to city, or you move 3 blocks away and your environment changes, right? So surrounding yourself with people who are successful, who are smart, who
Mhm.
are driven. I think if you're a business owner or a woman in business, it's very, very important, because you need to get that drive, and sometimes, we feel a little lazy, or sometimes I just don't want to do this. So it's always good to have environment that is just like, hey, you can do this, you got this. It's almost reminds me of that being on a tennis team. I used to play tennis, so being on a tennis team, when you are in the third set tiebreaker and you have your whole team by your sideline and everybody's cheering for you. And so that's that environment that you want to be in, because I think that's very important.
Yeah. So, talk to me and just share with me about navigating business, not only as a woman, because I feel like, in your space, also, even I see it in a lot of mine, especially in the video realm, that it's highly male dominated. So there's that aspect, right? I think being a business owner is almost like learning a new language anyway. There's just terms you have to know and ways you have to navigate. And sometimes that's even if someone's pulling a fast one on over
Hmm.
you, like you're
Hmm.
learning who's on your side, who's not. You're learning who truly wants to be your partner and who's gonna show up all the time and who doesn't. But also just, coming in to this country and getting connected and all the things that you had to learn. I mean, it's challenging anyway to start a business. And I would just love to know really how you navigated that, but also what you learned from it.
That's a very, very good question. So one of the things that I always try to do, and I think it helps me the most, is try not to get drawn into the drama.
Mm,
And
amen to that.
right. So what I'm saying by that, a lot of times when you walk in the room and you're the only one female, or
Mm,
there's two others, and it's all about male dominant on this. And this is when a lot of female business owners start, I don't want to say complain, but noticing that, right? And yes, it is true. But then my thing is, okay, you only have 24 hours in a day. Do you want to spend that time to complain about something that we all? It's true. Okay, it is what it is, right? By focusing on the positives, by focusing on your own goals, you give yourself a chance to change that. So, if I it of course is not easy, right? Going to a different country, having an accent, you have to break a lot of obstacles, you have to go through a lot. But at the same time, you always have a choice. You can either not doing this or commit 100% to do it. So the choice is yours. And every morning you pick the attitude that you want to have. My attitude every single day is like, I will give it a try. Again, am I going to win every single day? No, because that's, let's be honest. Sometimes we have a good day, sometimes we have little weaker days, right?
Yeah.
But the attitude is like, hey, I'm giving 100%. I'm controlling my performance today. I'm going to do the best I can. And if I don't win, then I will analyze it why and then learn, right? One of the examples that kind of stuck with me was a friend of mine who is a very successful business owner. And when she started a couple of years ago, she had no idea about the website design, the SEOs, and everything else, right? And one of the things that, my thought process was like, oh my gosh, how are you going to do this if you don't know about ABC? And
Yeah.
her reply was, look, I'm just going to hire people who are good at this. I don't have to do everything by myself. And this is when, the light popped up. I'm like, oh my gosh, this is very true. Because as a small business owners, we are so used to wearing so many hats that it's almost we convincing ourselves that we have to do
Yeah.
everything. That is not true. That's why you have a services. That's why we have different people that can help us out. With 2025, with a wonderful world of AI, there's so many services out there that can help you with your business. Sometimes you just need someone like a consultant who will tell you which direction to go because you don't know what you don't know. So, it's very easy for someone who was walking in my shoes in the past to tell me, hey, what is my next step? Versus us sitting on the sideline and trying to pick and choose what's the best for us. Because let's be honest, nowadays there's so many options that sometimes it's a curse. It's a blessing and a curse at the same time because you get almost paralyzed by all the options. People talk about, oh my gosh, I have this business HDHD or whatever, right? Because when I start one thing, then I go to the second and the third and fourth and so forth. And it's just because there's lack of plan, there's lack of pathway or guidance. Where do you want to go?
Yeah. Um, Gosh, and I feel like too that when you enter the room like that, when you enter your day has to start with that. But when you enter the room with I'm just here to try, I'm here to learn, I'm here to do my best. And instead of, it's more of an open viewpoint of it than something that's closed off or viewing everyone else in the room as your competition. I feel like we're almost like lions in the den and we can smell that meat, right? Like you can smell it if someone walks into that room and they're scared or they feel intimidated versus I'm here to partner with you. And I feel like sometimes we can feel that even more as women, right?
Yeah,
Maybe we come into the room and we see the one other woman on the other side of the table, and some women will view that as instant competition. But I feel like one smile, one look can change that. And it's like we're partners, even if we're in the same field. I believe there's enough business out there for everyone. There's plenty of companies, people who do what I do. It's not rocket science. It's the
right.
way I do it or the way they do it or their area of expertise versus mine. There's enough business for both of us.
Agreed, 100%. Yes, it is very interesting because, as you said, if you walk in the room, you definitely see who is scared. And a lot of people, well, it can show as being or trying to be extremely aggressive or
Yeah.
out there, right? Because I'm scared, so let me just step in and just pretend like I know what I'm talking about.
Hmm.
And the second thing is, not being sure of what is your purpose. And I think that's the second one. It's a lot of times, especially in the female, business world, where we are very cautious because we are afraid that we don't know everything. When I work in the corporate, we work with men, obviously, and women. And it was so funny because if there was a new project, women would always talk about, oh my gosh, I'm not really sure if I have skills for that. And guys will never even worry about it because the attitude is like, I'll figure it out. We'll figure it out. It's going to be fine. And I think that mindset it's a very, very difficult thing for women, right? not worry, because we are natural worries. We're natural, we always worry about our families, our
Yeah.
kids, our, elderly parents. We always worry about something. And in the business world, you can't do that. You just take the facts for what they are. You take, if your business is growing, fantastic. If your business is not growing, hey, it's not that you are not a good person. It's just maybe there's an issue with marketing. There's an issue with the pricing. There's some certain things, right? So you just have to take the facts as cold as you can, take a look at your business, and kind of reinvent it, rebranding. How many times we heard about Adidas rebranding the logo, right? Everybody is doing that. So don't take things so personally, right? Business is just a
Yeah.
business. Yeah.
Yeah. When I wanna tie that in because I feel like that definitely, coincides with some of the, courses and offerings that you're gonna have in May of just support for small female support for small business owners. And just before the show, you and I were really talking about, kinda like this concept of authenticity,
Mm,
and I just heard on another podcast, this young lady said that Gen Zers, for all of their instant gratification that they have, they've become really quick at being able to spot something that's fake. So,
mm.
like being fake on social media and seeing maybe just the background, but you never actually get to meet that person versus those that are online that you do get to meet and when stuff doesn't match up. So, I'd love for you to share about that too, because it seems like it's a really prevalent problem.
Yeah, this is definitely something that we're seeing as a trend. I personally like it. I love to meet the real, true person.
Yeah.
With the social media, and there's so many fake personalities out there. And we talked about from people, pretending that they are sick, and taking their viewers through the journey and miracle of recovery, and then turn out they never been sick, to people pretending that their children are having mental issues because they want to provide services for neurodiverse communities and so forth. And, again, who am I to judge, right? Marketing is marketing. I just read recently that someone won millions of dollars for suing Red Bull because Red Bull did not give them wings. I mean, I don't know. But long story short, at the end of the day, I want to look at myself in the mirror and know who I am. So I definitely bring, as 100% of me to work every single day. So authenticity to me is the most important thing, because at the end of the day, it's a human to human connection.
Mm.
With this world of technology, with AI, everything pretty much now, I think that it is so important to have that human to human interaction. And I try that in the business too. That's why, when we sit down and talk about, hey, what is your goal for the business? What is your marketing plan? What is it that you're trying to accomplish? This is the conversation, right? This is not, as I mentioned before, a template that I am putting my information, your information, or, the customer information into, and then send them the email and set them up with some kind of access to the SaaS software. But
Yeah.
it is all about human to human. I think this is so important, and I think with that newest trend, I think this is what's happening. That people are sick and tired of fake. With the AI rolling out and deep fakes and everything else, it's just, we are too smart to just fall for that all the time. So finally, people are saying enough is enough. Like, I want to know that who I'm talking to is a real human being. I want to know what your values are, and that has nothing to do with are you trending on on the social media or not. That is more, has to do more with, who are you as a person? Can I identify with your struggle, or with what you're going through?
Yeah. And I know, you're very, very knowledgeable in this space, Viola, and combating cyber, I'm going to call them cyber lies, but is there like a quick tip or an easy way that we can spot this, right? Because I feel like and this is where sometimes they do work, right? Is because I believe that we as humans, our natural inclination is when we see someone in pain or in need that we want to help them. And
Yeah,
so that kind of goes straight for the heart. And when we see those situations, maybe we're not always thinking clearly and actually doing our research before we're like giving out phone numbers or sending money to different places. Is there like
right.
an easy way that we can spot these or a red flag?
So it's, I had a webinar about scams, romance scams right before the Valentine's Day, because I thought
Yeah.
that was a good topic for the occasion. And before, when I was getting ready for the webinar, I was actually thinking about why people fall for the romance scams, because when you look at that, you're like, oh my gosh, this is the same story. It's just different lady, right? But it's the same story. But I think
Yeah.
part of it is because the romance scams are happening in your own home, right? When you go out and you meet someone, if you like them, if you don't like them, you have some certain clues, the way that person acts, the way they walk, the way they, I don't know, smell, whatever, right? But when you start talking to someone online, you basically inviting them into your house right away, because you feel comfortable. You're sitting, on a sofa or in your chair in your house, having a glass of wine, what have you, and you just allowing them into your own space. And I think part of that is that people really want to believe what they want to believe.
Yeah.
So what would be a couple of tips? Number one, be cautious. If you're are starting online dating, get yourself a phone from Google or somewhere else where this is not your true, like, real cell phone number. If you're a single lady living by yourself, please do not use your real name. Do not
Mm.
let anyone know where you live, within the first couple of weeks. If you want to meet with them face to face, fantastic, but then just meet in a crowded space, coffee
Yeah.
shop, Starbucks, whatever. And just when someone is starting to ration you and ask for the money, I mean, this is the best time where all the red flags come up. And if you're not 100%, consult with your family member or someone they have that has a little bit different point of view on that current situation, because it's really hard to be logical if it comes down to feelings. If you were
Yep.
talking about ourselves, right? How many of us had been in a relationship when you look within a year or two or five in that relationship, you're like, oh my gosh, what I was thinking. But it's very, very difficult to be logical. So these are the definitely the tips. Another thing that I can throw at this, with the bank, right? Your bank will never text you, and your bank will never email you. If you get some random text from your bank, please call the bank number, but not the one that you find on Google, the first number, because believe it or not, these are 80% or more fake. So use your bank's application on your phone, and if you don't have it, just stop by the bank and talk to the teller or someone in the customer service. Um, do not fall for urgency. Also, remember, with the deep fake, it's very easy for scammers to pretend that your granddaughter, your daughter, somebody from your family are in an accident and something horrible happened, and now you have to send them money to help them. Always verify, as we say in cybersecurity, trust but verify.
Absolutely. Yeah, I remember what's the name of the Netflix series, Viola, that this is about? Catfish?
Oh, there was some, yeah. It I yeah,
I mean,
I watch so many of them because as I
yeah,
said, it's fascinating to me. But it's, and again, it's the same template. And when people are yelling at you, with the tech support, right? So many times people get a phone call or have to call tech support, what do? They Google the phone number and they call the first one that they see. Well, as I mentioned, over 80% that's scammers. So it's just really bad out there.
Well, I remember watching that Netflix series and yelling at the TV at like, "No, don't do it." Oh
Yeah,
gosh, it's
yeah.
infuriating.
Yeah,
Oh
it
man.
is. It is very. It's a very interesting topic because I was recently at the meeting and started talking about this, and 90% of the women, their reaction was like, I don't date, I don't do
Yeah,
that." And I said,
yeah,
well, that's not about dating or not, but maybe your daughter is going to date online or any of your friends. It's really good to talk about it. There's
yeah,
some topics between women that we don't like to talk, and apparently this is one of them. And I think that is the part of the problem why so many people are not aware of it, right?
yep,
um, you know 10 years ago, I had a lot of friends that were dating online. This is when the Bumble came out and some other services. And I was always the first person that I had my girlfriends come to with their profile, just to make sure that the profile is, it's okay. And 90% of the time I would say, are you crazy? Like, you do not want to give all that information, because
yep,
basically anyone can find you, and who knows, right? So just be careful. That's it.
absolutely. Well, I have alluded to it at the beginning of the show, and anyone listening to this would see all that I see. And I would love to just take a couple of moments before I let you go, Viola, and just have you talk about where your resiliency and that energy comes from. It's like I said, every time I'm around you, I get new ideas and I'm inspired and I just feel energized. And I would just love for you to share a little bit about where that comes from.
I believe this is from my grandpa side. Being from Poland, we obviously were in World War II, and my grandpa had to go through some horrifying things, and he's seen horrifying things. And I had a privilege of seeing notes that he left for all of us to read. And it was horrible. It was heartbreaking, the notes, stories about his friends dying and everything else. But after reading that, I realized that we are so blessed, we are so lucky to live in the days that we live, and being so safe, really, in this wonderful country. And it's just phenomenal to be here at this time. And even, being women, right, in business. I mean, this is fantastic that women have so many options right now versus even my grandma, right?
Yeah.
So, remembering that and just taking one day at a time, but again, being excited about what else can I do. I refuse to worry about tough days. I refuse to worry about, oh, I'm getting older, I'm getting this, I'm getting that. I refuse it, because attitude is something that you can bring to the table. The whole world is against you, so to speak, right? But then, you can change that narrative with your attitude and your skills, and just investing in yourself and just having fun, in life. So I think that's where it's coming from. That's how I would like to think of that.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
I still remember that story, I mean, from months ago, and even I will try to remember that if I'm having a bad day where, it was essentially, we're not zebras out in the wild having to look behind us. Is there
Yes.
like a lion coming for us? Like, most of us do not have that problem. It does still exist in the world,
Right.
but most of us don't have that problem where we're constantly having to look back at us, wondering when is the lion gonna pounce.
Gonna come and eat us. Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
We create a lot of issues, in our heads, and
Yep.
a lot of times we get pulled into some very crazy situations. But again, just stay focused, make sure you have your goals planned, and that's gonna make your life so much easier. That's what I can say about this. And it's just have fun.
Well, I'm sorry, but you are the smartest one in this room today. So oh man, this has been so great. I knew it would be, Viola. Before I let you go, please tell everyone how they can get in touch with you, and then also how they found out about the courses and things that you have coming up
Sure.
also in May.
So, V Consulting Services, my website is yourvcs.com. If you want to send me an email, it's Viola, Viola, at yourvcs.com. And I will be updating my calendar in the next month or so to start the series of, how to do a small business. And we will talk about everything from how to create a marketing plan, your business plan, how to register your LLC,
Wow.
to cybersecurity best practices. So please let me know that you are interested. And Whitney, thank you so much for having me on the show.
No, absolutely. Thank you, Viola. This has been great.